If you have ever visited some ancient Roman or Greek ruins, you may have asked yourself the question why these magnificent buildings are not made anymore today. Well, there are still new buildings designed in classical style, but there is a difference in knowing that a building was created 2 millennia ago versus it being built in the last decades with the help of all modern technology. In the second half of the 18th century, there was a period where people asked a similar question, and the answer they came up with was to build these ancient structures and make them look like ancient ruins, including the deterioration you would expect from such a ruin. It was a result of the rise of the Romantic movement, which reflected the decline of the great powers of the past, but at the same time tried to preserve some of the greatness from the past. The Roman ruin in Schonbrunn is a wonderful example, and in this video I will pay particular attention to 3 paintings that have been created over time of this ruin, all painted by Austrian artists. The first one was created in 1832 by Ferdinand Georg Waldmüller, an artist who painted all sorts of subjects, including portraits, still lifes, genre paintings, and landscapes. He focuses on the right side of the ruin, and particularly the sculptural group on the small island in the water in front of the ruin. This sculpture shows the river gods of Moldau and Elbe. The statue was created by the German sculptor and garden designer Johann Wilhelm Bayer, the man who has designed most of the extensive garden behind the Schönbrunn palace. The size of the park is almost 1 square mile or 2 square kilometers. Since 1996, the palace and park have been part of the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. The Roman ruin in Schonbrunn was built in 1778 by the Austrian architect Johann Ferdinand Hetzendorf von Hohenberg. It was part of the extensive design of the Schönbrunn garden. It was originally called the Ruin of Carthage, and the idea was to create multiple ancient structures and ruins that would seamlessly integrate in the garden landscape. Here you can see an impression of the Roman ruin painted in 1790, 12 years after it was completed. If you look in the background of this photograph, you can see a sculpture, which is a statue of Hercules. The original plan was to have a series of water cascades coming down from the top of the hill, resembling a flood that would destroy Carthage. But a lack of money and water was the reason that this plan was never completed. The Roman ruin here is called a folly, which is an extravagant structure which main purpose is decorative. It consists of a rectangular pool with a large arch with lateral walls. The idea was that it should resemble an ancient Roman ruin. And that brings us to the second magnificent painting of this ruin, which was painted in 1892 by Moll. Again we can see the sculpture of the river gods in the foreground, but unlike Waldmüller 6 decades earlier, Moll captures the full arch in all its splendor. Here you can see a study that Moll made for the painting. He paints the ruin at the end of fall, which heightens the sense that this is an ancient ruin in decline. You can see the discoloration of the ruin, as well as the many pieces of the ruin that have broken off. As you may have suspected by some of the photographs I showed already, you can still visit the ruins today. In fact, it has been admired by tourists over the last 240 years. Here we can see a black and white photograph from 100 years ago, showing the fountain in front of the ruins. And this is a postcard from a couple of years before. People in their 30s and older will probably remember buying this type of postcard to send home to share the beautiful places you visited with your family and friends. The third painting I want to discuss here was created in 1910 by Friedrich Frank, who specialized in painting architectural structures throughout Europe and the Mediterranean. He emphasizes the grandeur of the Roman ruin by painting it in late spring under the sunlight. Finally, the Roman ruin is designed to resemble an ancient Roman ruin in decay, but a 2000-year-old ruin decays differently than a 240-year-old one. To keep the Roman ruin in its original state, as intended by the designers in 1778, 2 decades ago, it was restored extensively, including the application of a special watercolor to maintain its original colors. And so, nowadays, it is a convincing, fake, ancient Roman ruin again. I hope you enjoyed this video. It may be a bit different than some of my earlier videos, but when I posted this painting by Moll some time ago on my Instagram account, so many people liked it and commented on it that I thought it was worth a deeper discussion. If you enjoyed this video or have any feedback on the Schonbrunn Park, the Roman ruin or the paintings discussed, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date on new video releases. Thank you for watching.